Hello my friends, I'm Buck Weezer and you've tuned to Buck's Small Engine DIY on YouTube. Sitting here with a John Deere lawn tractor, the S130, and it's got some issues that we need to resolve. Something to do with wiring harness, broken wires, PTO, electric PTO clutch, bracket that's part of that. I'm not sure what's going on here, but we have some repairs to do. Does this sound like something that might interest you? Then stay tuned. All right, so here we are with the John Deere S130. It's got 60.6 hours on the meter. It's got a twin cylinder 22 horsepower Briggs and Stratton engine and some messed up wires. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna discover here, but I think what I want to do is I'm going to lower that cutting deck. I'm going to just take a minute to yank that deck out and move it out of the way, and then get this up in the air a little bit so we can get under there and be able to see exactly what we're trying to deal with here. Yeah, so the PTO clutch is just spinning up here, and it broke loose from the bar that holds it in place, and I haven't figured that out yet, but probably ripped the wires out or something. So we're going to start by getting the PTO clutch down. It's a 5/8 socket. We're going to use the Bauer, the big kahunas, to break that loose. Hopefully it won't be too much trouble. Bolt, and there he is. So that wasn't too bad, and he's down. So there's our PTO clutch, and this design is actually preferable to some where the wires are just straight in. You know, this doesn't destroy the clutch if it breaks loose and rips the wires out. It's just this connector right there that ripped out. So hopefully everything, we'll put this up on a bench, test it, make sure it works. We'll apply voltage and just make sure that's all good to go. And then I was looking at the bracket that secures it in place. And it would seem this piece definitely slides right in here, but I'm not sure exactly where on the tractor this mounts. Is this bent, or is it supposed to be like that? We'll have to look into that. Kind of looks bent, but I'm not sure. So let's test out this clutch. All right, I'm going to start using my multimeter on the ohm setting and just put my test these, see what kind of reading we get. 3.6. All right, so that tests out pretty good, I think. Next, what I want to do is apply battery voltage. So maybe with these alligator clips I can get in there. I do not think it matters which is positive and which is negative. And we're here at the battery at the tractor, so I'll just connect those. And we should be able to, you know, hear it click. We'll come around to the other side. I do hear something, although I don't see a lot of movement. Oh yeah, I do see the plate jumping here, lifting up a little bit with the magnet. So hopefully that means it's working like it should. So I think we're good to go. And we'll see about securing it properly now to the tractor. Okay, so it would seem to me that the PTO anti-rotation bracket goes right here. You can see on the outside of this bracket where it bolted up here. You can see the evidence of that. And this is a threaded, tapped into the frame. But I would like to, but apparently it came loose, and that was the source of the problem. I would like to be able to put a bolt through there that's not just threaded, but also has nuts and a lock washer on the other side. So that this this bracket does not have a chance of coming loose again. Because I believe that was the source of the issue. So let me, I think I'm ready to put the PTO, electric PTO, back up on the crankshaft, and we'll see if we can get that anti-rotation bracket installed correctly. Then after that we can start talking about the wiring harness. I'm going to put a little anti-seize on the on this crankshaft a little bit, and I'm also going to put a little bit on the threads of the bolt, because although it came off happily for us this time, next time we might not be so lucky, you know what I'm saying? If there is a next time. And there probably will be for somebody, even if not for us. All right, so it is kind of heavy and a little bit awkward, but gotta line up the keyway. Oh, I don't think I did. Oh, that feels better. That's good. All right. Now we can work on that bracket. All right. Just start this bolt. Make sure it's the right size, and then it's going to thread in there okay. A little tight, that's for sure. But this bracket's pretty important. All right, I think that's good. So we're going to bolt the bracket to the frame, but I'm also going to put lock washer and a nut on the other side for extra security. Okay. Now, I need to make sure that I can get it to engage in the PTO before I tighten it down, right? Maybe I should have done that first. Probably can't see, but so let me get that into the groove. That's good. Now we can bolt it down here. All right, good. Now going under on the other side to put these in, and that will be done. All right, let's talk about this wiring harness now. And there are several places where the wire's broken or nicked. Down here especially, this one looks like he tried to tape it up or fix it. This one's nicked but not broken, nicked but not broken, nicked but not broken, nicked but not broken. And this is for our PTO connector, which looks mostly okay. And then up here I was counting one broken, nicked but not broken, nicked but not broken. Looks like he was trying to fix that, so I got like 4. Anyway, I had talked to the guy and I said, you know, it might be cheaper just to buy a whole new harness for this thing instead of taking the time to make all these wire repairs. And I want to show you, I was online and I've discovered that it's hard to find John Deere parts than other parts for whatever reason. But anyway, what I realized is, so you can see on this diagram, the harness is, there's really 2 harnesses. One they call the front harness. That's the part number and it runs like $110. And that's the one where I got like 4 wires that are broken or nicked. But the other is, they call it the rear harness because it runs to the rear of the tractor for the reverse switch and the seat switch. But the PTO switch is also part of what they call the rear harness, even though the PTO, of course, is not in the rear, it's at the front. So whatever. And that rear harness is $75. Front harness is $110, so you're looking at $185 plus tax plus shipping, $200. And I'm thinking to myself, Well, I talked to the guy, and we didn't realize at the time that it was 2 harnesses. We thought it would just be the one. But now I'm thinking that I probably should just go about repairing those wires. Maybe if anything, I could just buy the rear one. Up here, I just have 4 wires to repair. That shouldn't be too much drama in that. So maybe, you know, I was thinking by the time you pay me to fix these wires, we should just get a whole new harness. But you're talking $200 just for the 2 harnesses. So I think maybe I will attempt to start repairing some of these wires. Which in the end may be cheaper than buying the $200 worth of wiring when we only have 8 or 10 wires that we need to fix. So that's a fancy way of saying I'm going to start fixing some of these with some crimp and seal connectors and insulators, and hopefully I can do it in an expedient fashion and we won't have to buy these expensive harnesses. All right, I am fixing these couple of broken wires on this upper harness with these crimp, heat shrink crimp type connectors. Connected this one, applied heat with the heat gun, and I'm going the extra mile and putting one of these heat shrink insulators on top of that. Probably not necessary, but whatever. And really what I think I decided is I'm going to fix these couple of wires on this upper harness, but I'm going to spend 75 or 80 bucks to replace this one. As a couple of these wires have pulled out of the back of the connector, and so many of these are mangled that were down here, you know, close to the PTO. So I'm going to replace what they call the rear harness, but fix this one up here, and hopefully fixing this one and replacing this one will be a good compromise instead of having to buy both of them. So I'm using my continuity tester to make sure my connections are good in those places where I know where the wires are going. So this one goes up to here. So let me try that. From here to here. Alright, so my connection's good. I got continuity. That's great. Alright, my friends, we're back today here with the John Deere S130 and our wiring harness repair. And I got a box. It's green, it's yellow, it's John Deere. It's genuine parts. And so we decided to replace what they call the rear wiring harness, even though it also controls things up front. So I'm going to, there's a part number, AUC 15194. Change that last digit to a 3 if you want the upper wiring harness. And here it is. So part number is on the harness itself. It has these cable ties that plug into the different places along the frame. That makes it easy. So this is the connector that joins up with the front wiring harness. This is the connector for the electric PTO. And then it runs all the way to the back. And back there we have, what do we have, 3 things here? What are these 3 things? Seat switch. And one or two, both of these need to be the reverse switch. I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly, but I'm sure it'll be obvious when I get under there and start replacing the other. I got no real good way to show you the process of installing this because there's just not a lot of room under that tractor. But I think I'm going to work on that off camera, and then I'll come back, and if I've learned anything along the way that I think would be useful, I'll turn the camera back on and talk to you about it. Alright, got the new harness installed. Here's the old guy. And I discovered that that other connector I have identified properly comes back here to the, it's the fuel tank level sensor, because this tractor has a fuel gauge built into the hour meter. So that's what that one does. Alright, so I'm going to test this two ways. So here's our wire, the new harness, and the wires for the PTO clutch right here. And I'm going to start this tractor up. But before I plug it into the PTO, I'm going to start the tractor up, turn on the PTO and PTO switch, and see if I got power and ground here. I may have trouble doing that because I'm going to have to be seated to run that test, but we'll see what I can do. The second test is I'm going to take a connector from the old harness, which is this guy right here. And before I take the chance, I want to test out this PTO clutch by artificially supplying 12 volts to the PTO while the engine's running. But I don't want to use the new harness for this test because I don't want to take the chance if that PTO clutch is not good, or if our anti-vibration installation, that bracket we installed, is compromised. I don't want to risk ripping out this brand new harness. So I'm going to test it first with the old harness, that old connector, and hopefully this will help us. I might have to get some help to do this, have somebody sit in the seat, because I don't think I'm going to be able to do these tests. Can't turn on the PTO unless you are in the driver's seat. But that's what I'm going to do before connecting the new harness to the electric PTO. Just want to play it. I want to be safe, not sorry. I want to play it safe and not be sorry. All right, I performed my test. Everything's checking out just fine. I think it's time to connect the PTO with the new harness and get this tractor back to mowing grass. All right, that's it. The John Deere S130 is back in service, and it's a lot more enjoyable to do these projects when you come along for the ride and join me on the adventure. And this one turned out pretty good, not too terribly difficult, but not something that you see every day. PTO clutch was still good, and it's just a matter of replacing that wiring harness and fixing the a couple of broken wires as well, and testing it out, and we're back to mowing. So thanks for watching, and I really appreciate you being here with me. Your comments and questions are also welcome, and that's an extra bonus for me if you want to communicate with me in the discussion below. I love hearing from you. Let's see what happens in our next project. I'll look forward to joining you then. And remember, as I always like to say, it's only you that can put the do into do it yourself. And I will see you next time.